Welcome to the Sports Stop here on WSJU Radio, the voice of St. John's University. Welcome back. We just went over our top stories, which included, but were not limited to, St. John's basketball, losing to Nova and Xavier. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. for new NASCAR fans. We talked about the Daytona 500 and his victory. Jason Collins signing with the Nets, being the first openly gay player in the Big Four sports leagues. And Raymond Felton being charged with handgun charges and arrested. And then he's set bail, and now he's going to be playing on Thursday. Good for him. So right now, we're going to be talking about the Olympics. But first, before we talk about the Olympics, we're going to do one of our favorite segments, and probably our newest segment we introduced last week. If you remember, if you don't, well, you're going to have fun with it, because we always do too. It's called the DumDums of the Week. Yes, the DumDums of the Week. So each week we go over and we say stories that happened during the week in the sports world or even any part of the world that really just, it didn't seem like the person who did these really had his head screwed on straight that day. I mean, it happens to all of us, but, I mean, we're just making this public.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, that's our jobs.
Oh, yeah. We're sports news. All news all the time. So, Evan, who's your dum-dum?
This is one of my favorite dum-dums. There is an Italian soccer player who scored a goal. Goalie messed up, tapped it in. No big deal. And then he runs over and celebrates with his teammates. And instead of celebrating with his teammates, he runs by every single one of them and headbutts the dugout glass. Goes right through it, runs back onto the field, proceeds to get a what?
The pitch?
Yeah, the pitch.
The pitch. Yes.
And proceeds to get a red card by the referee. I will be posting this video on the Twitter, and so all you can see how dumb he really is.
And he's nameless, isn't he?
They
don't have a name on the link.
I know it's this Italian soccer player.
Italian soccer player. So Italian soccer player, you are Evans. Dum-dum of the week. Atticus, you got a dum-dum this week?
Yeah. So the St. Louis Cardinals pitcher, Carlos Martinez, has a Twitter account. And people, on Twitter you have your favorites. You can favorite things, People started to go through his favorites, and they found a bunch of pornographic photos on there.
Oh, boy.
His team found out about it. They tried to get rid of them all, but it was too late. It was already up online. It's just gone viral since then.
No, he's a young kid.
Yeah.
Maybe he followed them when he was 17, 16.
Maybe
he went through some late puberty. Hormones do that to young people. But Atticus, who's the dum-dum?
Carlos Martinez.
Dum-dum of the week for Atticus George. Carlos Martinez, a Cardinals breakout star. He's a really good pitcher. They remind people of Pedro Martinez. They were raving about him during the World Series last year.
Pedro.
Okay, so here's my dum-dum. Also a soccer story. This one comes from Spain. A Spanish football fan, so it's soccer, of course, here in America. He threw his dog at a referee and was fined 165 euros. Now, before you ask, yes, the dog is recovering fine. It was injured, but he is recovering A-okay.
That's the most important part of that.
Of course, obviously, you can tell that the fan wasn't happy with the referee's calls.
Oh.
So he throws his Yorkshire Terrier. It's not like he threw a small dog.
Yeah, that's a very small dog.
He definitely held it like a football and just chucked it at the referee. I have the link here, and we'll put that link on the Twitter as well, so all your followers can see all these things. The video's with it. I actually didn't look at the video. I just read the article. But I mean, you'll see each of the articles from us on the Twitter. But the Spanish, of course. Wait, does this guy have a name? Let me check.
The guy who threw it,
the guy who threw it.
I remember.
I think
would hope he would be nameless.
No, he is nameless. But the dog has a name.
What's his dog's name?
The dog's name is Goofy.
Goofy.
Yes.
Goofy.
Goofy the Yorkshire Terrier was thrown at a referee. So, Spanish football fan. You're my dum-dum. Why are you throwing dogs at people?
Seriously.
It's a canine. It's not a canine missile. You can't do that. So, of course, that's one of our favorite news segments, the DumDums of the Week. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. So on with the Olympic talk, guys. The Olympics are over. The closing ceremonies happened Sunday night. However, mentioning the closing ceremonies, I did like Russia playing a little joke with themselves.
That was awesome.
With the, of course, in the opening ceremonies, the ring wouldn't open in the top right corner.
Which happens to be the American ring.
Which happens to be the North American.
No, the Americas combined.
Right, the Americas combined.
Since Russia beat us, that's why they did it.
Yes. So they had like people going into the Olympic rings during the closing ceremonies, and the people in the top right corner ring, they didn't open immediately. So I think it's good to see Russia having a personality. I mean, when you think of Russia, you automatically think of, well, at least I do. I automatically think of Putin in that.
I actually saw Putin smile.
See, I didn't.
I saw him smile. There was a picture and it caught him smiling to the Zubkov, the bobsledder.
Oh. Was he shirtless? Because he usually smiles when he's shirtless.
Yeah. No, he was clothed.
Really?
He usually smiles shirtless.
While wrestling like bears and things like that.
Fully clothed.
Yes. So the Olympics, guys, you think USA... I mean, we came in second in the medal count. We had 9 golds. Do you think they disappointed?
Well,
we came in second by 5 medals. Russia, of course, won.
How many total did we have?
We had 28 medals.
I was hoping for 30 plus.
Just like the Russians got.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think,
I think that was a little disappointing.
We could have done better with figure skating.
We had a very young figure skating group.
We did, but very talented.
Very talented, but very young.
I can't wait to see them in the next 4 years because I think all three of the girls at least, are coming back.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest disappointments for us was the half pipe, where
yes,
Shaun White
definitely.
didn't win.
White,
yeah. That was one of the biggest disappointments for me.
For me,
yeah,
definitely. For me, it was the hockey.
Oh yeah,
hockey
definitely.
too, for sure.
It was
that
definitely
Finland game was
half
awful.
pipe and hockey. I mean, listen, hockey. I don't mind Canada getting the gold. A lot of people thought that would happen.
I at least wanted us to medal.
Yes, exactly.
Once
Canada beat us,
I said this, and I was very afraid of it. I thought it was going to be a rough game against Finland. I didn't think it was going to be like 5 or 6-0, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was 5-0. Yeah,
I thought it would be like maybe 2-1.
They just seem to roll over.
And I was looking at I was reading an article, and before they played Canada, they were an aggressive team.
Yes, they were.
They were very aggressive.
They were the highest scoring team in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they would attack, they would forecheck. Once they played Canada, they played a 1-2-2 formation, so only one forechecker, and they invited the Canadians to attack all game long without any offense.
I mean, it goes to show how good the defense was, though, because it was only 1-0 Canada won.
Exactly. I mean, they play great defense, but their game...
They're more of an offensive team.
As much as they don't want to
admit it.
They're an offensive team. I mean, with all the great players. And I think this reflects the coach, Dan Bylsma.
Dan Bylsma?
Yeah,
from the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And that's the thing. When you look at Pittsburgh, they struggle. When it comes into the clutch, they struggle. They're a great offensive team, and then all of a sudden,
with Malkin and Crosby.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they try and go into these defensive shells, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to stay on the attack. I mean, that's what you're good at. You play to win the game.
Exactly. As great Herm Edwards, former Jet coaching great,
game.
Said, you play to win the game. But also, going back to the half pipe, I mean, the Americans pretty much invented that. We are the best all time in half pipes. I'm not afraid to say it.
Oh,
I'm not even looking at stats. I know we are. I mean, led by
Shaun White alone.
Led by Shaun White, indeed. Who in that event he had the highest qualifying, or like what?
Yeah,
it's qualifying.
He qualified
right?
number 1.
Yeah, he qualified number 1. He finished 4th, and the rest of the Americans who should be pretty good. They are pretty good. We know that.
They just weren't landing anything.
They weren't landing anything.
Well, we were expecting to at least get 2, if not 3 medals out of that event.
Yeah, we were looking to sweep,
none.
and we didn't. So that was definitely a disappointment. I think that's a bigger disappointment than hockey.
The good news is our women came through in the clutch.
Yes, they did. And our slopestyle skiers, they swept the board.
Yes, they did.
Yep, they were on Letterman the other night.
There's that. One of the surprising all-around things for the Americans was the luge and the bobsled and the skeleton.
Yeah.
Because we finally medaled in
luge
and the two-man bobsled. Our first medal is in probably 50 years, I think it was.
I think it was the first medal ever in luge with coming from
luge.
Hamlin,
Yeah.
the female luger, got the bronze.
Yeah,
and of course
Holcomb led the
bobsledding team.
And the two-man, and I believe he got silver in the four-man.
I think we did get we got a medal in the four-man bobsledding too.
We just missed out beating the Russians in that.
Yeah.
And the Russians actually, the driver Zubkov was the first driver to, and I forget how long it was, but to win gold in both the two-man and the four-man.
Wow.
And that's when I saw Putin smile.
Oh, look at that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good for Russia. You know, they hosted the thing. They got the most medals and they got the most gold.
I don't think they should beat us though.
Exactly. I don't think they should either.
But you always got to look at the host nations. Always end up with more.
Yeah.
With more medals.
You know, they had the motivation.
Yeah. You look at Beijing. China and America have been close. Like they were close in the London Olympics, but Beijing, China won in the medal count. England had significantly more medals than they have in the previous Olympics because it was in London this past year.
But you know, they still weren't really a factor.
They weren't a factor, but they
still had more
medals.
Yeah. Of course, Canada and Vancouver, they had. I think they won. They have the record for the most gold medals won.
Just so much more motivation.
Exactly, especially with like a proud nation like Russia. You know, a lot of people are scrutinizing them, and the government and things like that. But you know, they went out there, they did the job. Of course, the hockey disappointed. I mean, reports are saying, you know, even if Russia didn't win any medals and they just got gold in hockey, that would have been a success.
Their coach stepped down already. I read their coach stepped down already. I mean, I thought they would get bronze maybe. They wouldn't be in the medal round for bronze, but I saw too much pressure on them.